Hey, Jack with JC Plumbing here. As a few of you know, we post a lot of our work to social media. Everything from whole home repipes, fixture replacement, tankless water heater installation and maintenance, water treatment and filtration. And I have to say, I probably never get as many questions in the comments as when it comes to whole home water treatment. I'm going to be performing an install today. I'll be showing you what that looks like. But I want to also try to answer a few of those questions. Different kinds of equipment out there, different applications, pros and cons. So because of that, this video is going to be a little longer than I usually do. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable, kick up your feet, and I'll get right into it. So here I am on site in Wildomar, Southern California. This is where I'm going to be performing the installation today. And what's going to be happening is the equipment's going to be going right in this corner of the garage. This is where the incoming water service is located. I'm also going to be replacing that whole home emergency shutoff valve and also the water pressure regulator. So if we're going to talk whole home water treatment, the first thing that needs to be done is the water needs to be tested. Now, we do this on site. We can also send it out to laboratory testing if we're looking for bacteria, let's say if you're on a well. So we tested the water, and this home tested at 21 grains per gallon of hardness. So grains per gallon, what that is that's just a scale where you can see total dissolved solids, dissolved minerals in the water. Now, anything over 14 grains per gallon is called excessively hard. So here in Southern California, we're in the desert environment. Everyone in our service area has extremely high water. Now, if you're on a well, that's a whole nother ball game. That water we're gonna send out, you may be dealing with bacteria, possibly. Things like E. coli, Listeria, Giardia. Now, not real common, but hey, that's always a potential. But in a municipal water, you're not dealing with that because the municipality, they sterilize their water with chlorine or chloramines. Now, do you want to be drinking chlorine? No, absolutely not. So on the municipal side, that's what we want to be removing also. So in regards to municipal water, the municipality or your city water provider, they only need to meet minimum standards or just good enough. But honestly, as homeowners, we want optimal water conditions. We want the best quality water we can possibly have. So with that in mind, we have to start thinking about the uses of our water. And really within our home, there's two different kinds of water or two uses. And number one is going to be our drinking water. The drinking water is obviously what we're going to be putting in our water bottles, our hydro flasks and thermoses, what we're making our coffees and teas with, what you'll be cooking with, so boiling pasta, making soups, and possibly going to the ice maker in your refrigerator. What you're making your ice with for your cocktails, your juices, and possibly the water dispenser there at the refrigerator. Then, number two, you've got your working water. And your working water is what you're going to be bathing in, what you're going to be brushing your teeth with, washing your clothes, what's going to be operating and washing your dishes, and flushing your toilets. That's what we consider working water. So now that we kind of understand the different uses of the water within our home, let's start talking about different types of water treatment or conditioning. So number one, let's start talking about reverse osmosis. So reverse osmosis, the way it operates is it's usually a series of filters, typically 4 or 6 filters, a couple carbon filters, a sediment filter, and it usually pushes it through a membrane at the end. Now, the thing about reverse osmosis is it generates the water very slowly. It's a process, and there is a considerable amount of water waste. So it's kind of a rule of thumb, for every 1 gallon of reverse osmosis water created, 3 go down the drain. So now there is a caveat to this. There are zero waste reverse osmosis systems on the market. You're not going to see them sitting on a shelf, and they are a bit more expensive, but they are available if you're kind of water waste conscious. So RO water is going to get your water anywhere from 95 to 99.5% pure of any impurities. It's going to remove everything. But the big issue with RO water, because it generates it slowly, you have to store the water in a storage tank or a pressurized bladder tank, so it can be used later. So the practicality for providing it for an entire home, you'd have to have an enormous storage tank and possibly a booster pump. Can it be done? Yeah, you bet. Is it economical, and do you have the space for it? No, it's not very practical for a home. So typically what you see is reverse osmosis at what they call the point of use. So your drinking water. So reverse osmosis systems, most commonly you're going to see them at the kitchen sink below the countertop with a water dispenser right at the deck. Again, that's going to be your drinking water. We're going to be cooking with it, drinking, making ice with it. Now, let's move on to maybe whole home water treatment, something more practical. So now we start getting into carbon or granular activated carbon. Carbon is an incredible media for filtering water. It works great. Carbon is going to remove a lot of ground minerals, total dissolved solids, organic matter. It's going to improve the taste and the odor of the water. So if there's any discoloration, let's say it's high in iron or sulfur, it's going to pull that out. The chlorine that the city puts in, that carbon is going to pull that chlorine out. So if you have really dry skin because of the chlorine, if you can smell it, if it irritates your eyes, carbon filtration is really, really going to work great for you. So since carbon is such a great media for water filtration, you see it in just about every kind of water filter you can imagine. From the water filters that go in your refrigerator to the Brita pitchers. They're even inside of Keurig coffee machines, some of their more premium models. You see carbon filters, they're the small devices you put on the end of your kitchen faucet. They use carbon for almost everything. Now, not all carbons are the same. Some are more absorbent and porous than others. Your more premium equipment out there, what they're going to use is what's called a granulated, activated coconut carbon. That's kind of like the premier carbon. And when it comes to equipment, how much carbon is in this system makes a tremendous difference. So a filter of this size that goes in your refrigerator, you're only going to be able to move so much water through it, and it's only going to pull out so many impurities, as to where if you have a large tank, about as large as I am, you're going to be able to put a lot of gallons through that very quickly, and it's going to extract a lot of impurities. So as great a media as carbon is for water filtration, it is still not a water softener. Well, what is a water softener? Okay, a water softener is an ion exchange process where you use sodium or salt to extract calcium and magnesium. And what that is that's limescale. Just look at the ends of your faucets, your shower heads, the rings around your faucets and in your toilets. That's limescale, and limescale is the absolute death nail of all plumbing fixtures, especially water heaters. That limescale, those are the spots on your glass, they're the spots in your sinks. Limescale absolutely eats plumbing fixtures for breakfast. All of that is inside your clothes washers, your dishwashers, your fridge ice maker, and again, especially water heaters. So when it comes to water softening, there's a lot of different equipment out there. And we get the phone call all the time. Hey, I just got this great salt-free water softener. We'd love for you to install it. Well, I hate to tell you folks, the salt-free water softener just doesn't exist. You cannot soften water without salt. And there's a very easy way to see this. Test the water. Let's install your salt-free system, take a water sample, and test the hardness level. send it out to a laboratory. Let's take a look at the water. Unfortunately, these systems just don't work. And the way for the consumer to see this and find this very easily is third-party testing. All your premium water filtration manufacturers, they're going to provide third-party testing where they send it out and they have an independent testing facility test their systems. Do they really work? Do they do what they say they can do? There's a lot of manufacturers out there, a lot of sketchy guys on the internet, and they're claiming their water does this and does that. They make a lot of bold claims. Hey, we're sending ours to the space station. Hey, Elon Musk is taking ours to Mars. Oh, well, hey, ours is in the White House. You know, they make all these extravagant claims that their water does these wonderful things, but they have no testing to prove it. They make the statements, but there's no water testing to back it up. So, most all your premium water treatment manufacturers, they're going to provide third-party testing, and this is going to tell you everything. So, now that we've kind of discussed a few of the most common residential water treatment types of equipment, what we typically like to install and what most your premium water treatment providers are going to lean towards are a combination carbon and softening system. And what it'll be called is a water conditioner and softener. And they come in different formats, but most likely you're going to see dual tanks and a brine reservoir or a salt tank. One tank will be your standalone activated carbon. The second tank will be your polisher, and that usually consists of a resin bead. And what these resin beads do, this is part of your softening system. You got your salt tank or your brine tank. You've got a backwash cycle. It scrubs these beads and it covers them with sodium. So then when the water runs through it, the sodium is exchanged with the calcium and the magnesium, therefore softening your water. It draws out all that lime scale, and then depending on how many gallons this system has generated, it'll go through a backwash cycle or like a scrubbing cycle. And it takes all that lime scale, all that magnesium and that calcium, and it flushes it down a drain. And this backwash cycle is dictated by how many gallons have been through the system. Now there's a lot of different systems out there, a lot of different brands, and some are good, but again, look for that third-party testing. That's what you're looking for. So the system I'm going to install today is going to be just that. It's going to be a 2-tank system, and what that's going to look like is that first tank's going to have 47 pounds of granular activated coconut carbon inside of it. And what that's going to do is that's going to remove all the chlorine the city has put in the water to sterilize it. It's going to greatly improve the taste, remove any odors or discoloration if there is any. And then that second tank is going to be your softening tank or your polisher. And lastly, there will be a small brine reservoir. That's where you add your salt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this system installed. Once it's all installed, I'll kind of show you what that looks like and walk you through it.
Try and play the role and you're the whole crew will act up. Get up, stand up.
you go. Here is the dual tank system installed. This brand is Novo. This is actually manufactured by Canature. Canature is one of the largest water filtration manufacturers in all the world, definitely the largest in all of North America. These guys, they do not outsource anything, they make everything in-house. Customer service is top-notch, we love them. So this is your carbon tank with the valve head on it, like I was saying. This is your softening tank, and this is your brine tank. So this is where you would put your salt. Just typical salt pellets. You get them at your big box store. Some grocery stores have them. Around here, on average, about 1 bag every 4 to 5 weeks. The new systems, they use a lot less salt than your mom and dad's old systems. I did do quite a bit of plumbing here, reworked all this. Brand new emergency shutoff valve, brand new water pressure regulator with gauge, so you can read the pressure without any tools. I also did do an inline sediment filter to catch any fine particles, if there are any. And I did install 2 hose bibs. So the reason for this, that bottom hose bib is unregulated city pressure. So it's gonna be real high pressure and it's hard water. So if you wanna hose off your driveway, water the lawn, water some plants, that's what that is for. Now this hose bib up top, this is downstream of your water filter system. So that water is gonna be soft and it's gonna be regulated. So it's gonna be about 75 PSI. The whole purpose of this guy up here is for washing cars. So on a hot summer day, you're wetting your car down, the sun comes out, your car's not gonna spot. You can leave it out there in the driveway and let it sun dry. You're not gonna have any spots on your windows, you're not gonna have any spots on the car. These systems, we love them, they work great. There's a lot of other manufacturers out there that make really premium systems, very, very similar to this. So if you have any questions, we got an email on there, and also you'll see our web address. I know we got a lot of literature up there. I thank you so much and appreciate you watching. Have a good day.